Hello travelers, to my travel diary on HT Travel, where we chase the world's most vibrant stories. Today, we will embark on an exciting adventure to a very special place, Madagascar. Not only is it a large island located in the southeast of Africa, Madagascar is also a land of wonders that can only be found here, from rare animals, diverse ecosystems to fascinating cultural stories. The majestic baobab trees, dense tropical forests and sharp limestone mountains, all of which are waiting for you to discover. Join me on this amazing journey, exploring every corner of Madagascar, where every step will bring wonderful experiences and unexpected discoveries. Join me to start exploring this island right now. Madagascar, with an area of 587,041 square kilometers, is the fourth largest island in the world and has a unique history, unlike any other. Formed more than 165 million years ago, Madagascar separated from the African continent, creating an isolated ecosystem and unique species of animals and plants found only in this place. This is why we find animals that are unique to Madagascar, such as lemurs and chameleons, or baobab trees with giant trunks, where each species has its own unique characteristics and growth. Madagascar's history is also very interesting and colorful. Before it was discovered by Europeans in the 16th century, Madagascar was inhabited by indigenous communities, mainly people of Southeast Asian and African origin. The Malagasy people have a complex culture, with a unique system of religions, beliefs and traditional customs. The main ethnic groups include the Merina, Betsileo and Betsimisaraka, each with its own distinct cultural influences and imprints. In the 19th century, the Merina Kingdom became one of the largest empires in Madagascar. However, in the late 19th century, Madagascar was colonized by the French and became a French colony until it gained independence in 1960. This process left many marks on Madagascar's culture and society, which can still be seen in the country's architecture and cultural activities today. Madagascar is one of the most biodiverse places on the planet. Due to its isolation from other continents for millions of years, the island has developed a unique ecosystem that cannot be found anywhere else in the world. This has given Madagascar an enviable reputation in the animal and plant world. It is impossible to mention Madagascar without mentioning the lemur, the typical animal of this island. Lemurs are a group of small mammals with long tails and especially intelligent and lovely. Madagascar is the only place in the world where we can see this animal living, and there are more than 100 different species of lemur. Each species of lemur has its own unique characteristics, from round-tailed lemurs, red-eyed lemurs, to small lemurs like mouse lemurs. Another unique animal is the Madagascar chameleon. Madagascar is home to more than half of the world's chameleon population. These chameleons are known for their amazing ability to change color, which helps them blend into their surroundings to avoid predators. In addition to lemurs, Madagascar is also home to the fossa, a cat-like carnivore that is one of the island's largest predators. The fossa is known to be a formidable predator of lemurs and other small animals in the forest. Madagascar is also famous for its giant tortoises, especially the Aldabra giant tortoise. This is the largest tortoise you can find in Madagascar. You can also find reptiles such as geckos and vipers, which are endemic to the island. Along with the animals, Madagascar also has a very unique flora. One of the most iconic symbols is the baobab tree, also known as the upside-down tree. These ancient baobabs have huge trunks and branches that appear to be rooted in the sky, creating a strange but beautiful image. Baobabs can live for thousands of years and are an important part of Madagascar's ecosystems. In addition to baobabs, Madagascar also has a number of other endemic trees, such as the Madagascar barley tree, and flowers such as the Madagascar orchid, famous for their vibrant colors and wonderful scent. Madagascar is not only home to amazing animals, but also to people with a unique and diverse culture. The Malagasy people are the owners of this island, and their culture is formed from the interweaving of Southeast Asian and African elements. With a rich culture, the Malagasy people have many rituals to worship their ancestors and nature. One of the special rituals is Famadahana, also known as the turning of the body ceremony. This is a long-standing tradition in Madagascar, where families dig up the graves and change the clothes of the deceased, in the hope of maintaining a connection with their ancestors. Malagasy festivals are rich and varied, ranging from festivals to honoring the gods to celebrating the harvest and harvest. Traditional music performances such as Salaji, a powerful folk music genre, and Malagasy dances are an important part of the festivities. Madagascar's cuisine is diverse, with influences from both Asia and Africa. Typical dishes such as ramazava, meat and vegetable soup, zebu, fresh beef, ragu, meat stew, and seafood are an integral part of the daily life of the people. Fresh spices such as vanilla, pepper, passion fruit, and garlic are widely used in traditional dishes, creating unique, appealing flavors. Madagascar is an ideal destination for those who love exploration and wild nature. Here are some tourist attractions that you cannot miss when visiting this island. Avenue of the Baobabs is a beautiful road located in the west of Madagascar, famous for its giant ancient baobab trees. This is where you can admire the wonderful scene, especially at sunset when the sunlight shines through the tree trunks, creating a vivid and mysterious landscape picture. Singi de Bemaraha is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. With its sharp limestone cliffs and intricate rock crevices, Singi is a great place for adventurers. Exploring this place requires climbing over suspension bridges and narrow trails, but the experience is definitely worth it. Ranomafana is a national park in eastern Madagascar, famous for its dense rainforest, home to many endemic animals, including lemurs. You will also experience natural hot springs here, where you can relax after a day of exploring. Madagascar is not only an amazing tourist destination, but also one of the most important biological regions on the planet. The island possesses an extremely unique ecosystem with thousands of species of flora and fauna that you cannot find anywhere else in the world. However, this beauty is seriously threatened by deforestation, illegal hunting, and climate change. These negative impacts are gradually destroying the fragile ecological structure that makes Madagascar special, putting many rare species at risk of extinction. Therefore, protecting and preserving pristine lands, ancient forests, and endemic animals is becoming an urgent task. Not only the Madagascar government, but also many international conservation organizations, such as WWF, Conservation International, or Madagascar Biodiversity Partnership have been joining hands in major campaigns to prevent the degradation of the natural environment here. They not only protect the forests but also conduct community education programs, reforestation, and promote ecotourism, a model that balances conservation and economic development. These efforts are not only about saving Madagascar, but also about protecting global biodiversity. Preserving Madagascar means preserving a precious part of the world's natural heritage, a place where future generations can continue to admire, explore, and learn from one of the most amazing ecosystems on the planet. This is not just a national responsibility, but a call for all of humanity. One of the key factors that tourists love when visiting Madagascar is ecotourism. With its diverse ecosystems and rare animals, Madagascar is a great destination for those who love nature and protecting the environment. Explore nature reserves. Mention reserves such as Masola and Andasabi-Mantadia, where visitors can go hiking, learn about native animals, and explore dense tropical forests. These areas not only protect animals, but also help maintain the island's important ecosystems. Eco-friendly tourism activities. Discuss tourism activities such as boating, diving, and camping, which allow visitors to connect directly with nature, while still protecting the environmental balance. Madagascar faces a number of serious threats to its nature and wildlife. One of the biggest problems is deforestation. Madagascar's vast forests are being rapidly cleared to meet agricultural needs, particularly for tobacco and coffee cultivation, and for logging of precious timber. This not only causes rapid forest loss, but also destroys important ecosystems, threatening the survival of animals, such as lemurs and giant tortoises, which are endemic to the island. Deforestation also depletes natural resources, directly affecting the lives of local communities and increasing poverty. In addition, illegal hunting and wildlife trafficking is another serious problem. Animals endemic to Madagascar, such as lemurs and giant tortoises, are being illegally hunted and traded for their high commercial value. This not only causes the numbers of animals to decline rapidly, but also destroys the island's natural food chains, causing ecological imbalance. These actions not only destroy nature, but also threaten the lives of communities that depend on wildlife for their livelihoods. In addition, climate change is creating inevitable negative impacts. Unpredictable weather patterns increase the risk of forest fires, making ecosystems more vulnerable than ever. Natural disasters are on the rise, threatening not only human life, but also the survival of the island's endemic animals. Madagascar is facing an environmental crisis, and protecting nature is not only the responsibility of the government, but also the common work of the international community. Madagascar is one of the countries with unique and extremely diverse ecosystems, but it is also facing many conservation challenges. In addition to the efforts of the government, many individuals and international organizations have been working tirelessly to protect the nature and rare animals and plants of this island. WWF Madagascar and the Madagascar Biodiversity Partnership are two of the prominent organizations in biodiversity conservation. These organizations not only protect endemic animals and plants, but also develop forest protection programs, help stop deforestation and restore damaged areas. They also actively educate the community about the importance of nature conservation and promote sustainable development initiatives. Alongside international organizations, local people in Madagascar play an integral role in protecting the environment. Malagasy communities are involved in a range of conservation activities, from reforestation and the maintenance of nature reserves to stopping poaching and protecting wildlife. Such programs not only help protect the environment, but also provide jobs for local communities and raise awareness of the importance of protecting nature. International cooperation also plays an important role in environmental protection efforts in Madagascar. Funding programs from international organizations, together with the involvement of experts and volunteers, have supported many conservation initiatives. Thanks to the international community, Madagascar can better meet conservation challenges and maintain its amazing natural beauty for generations to come. Madagascar cuisine is a unique fusion of three major cultures: Southeast Asia, Africa, and Europe, creating an incredibly diverse and rich cuisine. Each dish of Madagascar not only carries its own unique flavor, but also tells a story about the history of the exchange and blending of cultures. One of the famous signature dishes is ramazava, a rich meat and vegetable soup, usually made from beef or chicken, combined with green vegetables such as Malabar spinach and typical spices. This is a very popular dish in family meals in Madagascar, symbolizing simplicity but full of nutrients. A must-try dish is koba, a cake made from rice flour, bananas and palm sugar cooked in banana leaves. Koba is not only a snack but also a traditional dish during festivals, with a sweet and smooth taste, bearing the cultural mark of the people of Madagascar. In addition, zebu, local beef, often grilled or stewed, is a familiar dish that cannot be missed at parties or special occasions. If you like to explore street food, then mofogesi, Madagascar donuts, and sambos, fried cakes filled with meat or vegetables, will be great dishes for you to try. It is impossible not to mention brochettes, delicious grilled meat skewers, often sold on crowded streets. Madagascar cuisine is the result of the fusion of African, Asian and European cultures, giving each dish here a special flavor, reflecting the diversity and richness of this island. Madagascar attracts tourists not only by its wild natural beauty, but also by a mysterious treasure trove of myths and legends. One of the most interesting stories is about the lemur, the symbol of the island. According to Malagasy legend, lemurs are not ordinary animals but the spirits of ancestors, sacred creatures that protect the island from evil forces. Locals believe that when a lemur appears, it is a sign of good luck or a message from the other world. In addition to lemurs, baobab trees are also the main characters in many legendary stories. One legend says that the baobab was originally a great tree, full of fruit, but because of its arrogance, it was punished by the gods by being pulled upside down to the ground, giving it the strange shape we see today, with a giant trunk and branches reaching out like fingers. The baobab tree thus became a symbol of humility and repentance. In addition to animal stories, legends about ancestors and gods are also passed down through generations. These stories are often associated with rituals, music and folk dances, helping people remember the past and honor spiritual values. Storytellers not only tell but also perform, creating a mystical space, making listeners feel the sacredness and greatness of ancestors, and strengthening the close connection between humans and nature. Although Madagascar is famous for its unique natural beauty and rich ecosystems, the island's tourism industry still faces many major challenges. One of the serious problems is limited infrastructure. Madagascar is a large island nation, but many areas are not well connected to major cities, making travel difficult and time-consuming for tourists. Roads are poorly maintained, and public transportation is underdeveloped, which increases travel costs and limits access for international visitors. Therefore, although the island has great tourism potential, tourists still have difficulty exploring remote and untouched lands. Furthermore, the impact of unsustainable tourism is becoming a serious problem. With the increasing number of tourists, many nature reserves and wildlife habitats are being encroached upon. Actions such as cutting down forests to build resorts, encroachment into protected areas, and pollution due to increased waste are threatening the survival of rare species, such as lemurs and giant tortoises. To address these challenges, Madagascar is working to develop sustainable tourism. The government and conservation organizations are promoting ecotourism, where visitors can enjoy nature without harming the environment. Initiatives to protect protected areas, improve infrastructure, and engage visitors in nature conservation activities are important measures to ensure that tourism develops without harming nature and local communities. When the island's first airport was completed, it was unfortunately dubbed the world's most useless airport. The strong winds that constantly blow along the steep cliffs made landing a challenge for pilots. However, with improvements and adjustments, today commercial flights, even just 1 or 2 a week, have opened a small door connecting St. Helena to the outside world. It is this isolation that creates an irresistible attraction. If you are tired of the hustle and bustle of the modern city, if you long to find a peaceful place to disconnect from the world, St. Helena will be the ideal place. Quiet, pristine, and enchanting, this island is like a gentle whisper inviting souls looking for peace. The people of St. Helena, affectionately known as Saints, are the soul of this isolated island. They are kind, hospitable, and have a deep pride in their homeland. On an island of just a few thousand people, everyone knows each other, greets each other when passing by, and is willing to stop for a few minutes just to ask a few questions. Life here is not rushed. There are no car horns, no traffic jams, because there are no traffic lights on the island. Crime is almost zero. A small world where you feel safe, welcome, and can easily breathe a deep, deep sigh of relief. The people live simply but not monotonously. Some go to the beach, some grow vegetables, some make handmade cakes, some weave, some tell stories to children every late afternoon. The women of St. Helena are the soft but powerful heart of this community. They take care of their families while preserving the unique culture, from traditional cuisine to patient and loving parenting. The women here do not need noise to shine. They shine with warmth, gentleness, and the ability to unite a community. St. Helena is not just a place, it is a feeling. And it is these people who make the magic happen. St. Helena, no bustling shopping malls, no flashy 5-star resorts, no bars or clubs with bright lights. At first glance, it may seem lacking, but it is this absence that creates the irreplaceable charm of this island. At the end of the ocean, St. Helena appears as a parallel world where you can escape from all the hustle and bustle of modern life, to live slowly, to take a deep breath, and simply exist. No 5G network, no car horns, no rush. You will replace the sounds of the city with the sound of the wind blowing through the steep cliffs, the sound of waves whispering at the foot of the mountain, or the sound of birds chirping at dawn. All are like a gentle symphony of nature, the music that you thought you had forgotten in the midst of your busy life. St. Helena is not just a place to go, but a place to return to yourself. A place where you don't need to be anyone else, don't need to chase after anything, just let your soul drift with the clouds and the sea breeze. And when you leave this place, you will realize the most precious thing is not in the check-in photos, but the peace of mind, a silent gift that St. Helena gives to those who are lucky enough to set foot here. When it comes to St. Helena, what makes this small island famous all over the world is Napoleon Bonaparte, the legendary Emperor of France. After his fateful defeat in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, he was exiled by the European powers to the place considered inescapable, St. Helena, thousands of kilometers away from the mainland in the middle of the vast ocean. Here, Napoleon lived the last 6 years of his life, until he breathed his last in 1821. One of the most sacred and attractive destinations for tourists is Longwood House, the Emperor's last residence. This ancient house is still preserved intact as it existed more than 2 centuries ago. You can step into the bedroom, the study, and even the small garden where Napoleon used to walk every morning. Personal items, manuscripts, and furniture are all carefully cared for, making you feel like you are going back in time, living with historical memories. The feeling of standing in that space, where one of the greatest figures in history once breathed, thought, and wrote the last pages of his life, is hard to describe. It is not only a tourist destination, but also a journey back to the past, where you can feel the loneliness, pride, and tragedy of a defeated emperor. St. Helena therefore has a very unique appeal, not noisy, not flashy, but deep and haunting. St. Helena cuisine is an exciting taste journey, where the flavors of England, Africa, and India come together in surprising ways. The dishes here are not only delicious, but also carry the story of this isolated land in the middle of the ocean. You should not miss fish cakes, golden fried fish cakes, crispy on the outside, fragrant and soft on the inside, often served with a signature spicy sauce. Or the traditional curry cooked with sweet potatoes and ginger, with a warm, rich flavor that is very unique. And if you want to try something really strange, the fragrant, slightly sweet banana jam will definitely make you excited. Thanks to the source of fresh ingredients, from organic vegetables to fish caught on the day, St. Helena cuisine always retains its natural, authentic and memorable flavors. The nature on St. Helena Island is a rare wonder in the world. Due to its isolation for hundreds of years in the middle of the vast ocean, this place has become a true biological oasis, home to a series of flora and fauna that you cannot find anywhere else on this planet. The most vivid proof is Jonathan, the giant tortoise living in the governor's palace grounds. Born in 1832, Jonathan is now over 190 years old and still lives healthily, peacefully grazing in the morning sun. This old tortoise is not only a living witness to many centuries of history, but also a national symbol of St. Helena, and the oldest living animal in the world on record. But nature is not all about Jonathan. Try climbing Diana's Peak, the highest peak on the island, where you will be surrounded by ancient ferns, fresh air with every breath, and panoramic views of lush green hillsides spilling down to the distant sea. And if you like majestic views, just stand quietly by the coastal cliffs, where ocean waves have been crashing against the shore for millions of years. You will feel the eternity of nature and feel small in the vast world. St. Helena is not just beautiful, it is a mesmerizing symphony of time, nature and silence. St. Helena, a lonely island in the middle of the South Atlantic Ocean, a place that seems to be forgotten, but contains countless stories, history, and warm humanity. Not noisy, not flashy, this place is like a piece of old memories, peaceful, deep and poetic. If you are tired of the fast, hurried pace of modern life, if you are longing for a place where everything does not need more, but only enough, then St. Helena is the place you should set foot in once in your life. Because sometimes, what we are really looking for is not a bustling destination, but a space to breathe, to listen to ourselves. Once a magnificent, phosphate island, Nauru became one of the richest countries in the world in terms of GDP per capita in the 1970s and 1980s thanks to mineral exploitation that amazed the world. However, when the resources were depleted, the economy collapsed and Nauru fell to the top of the poorest countries today, dependent on aid from Australia and revenue from the refugee detention center. Regardless, the island still retains its appeal with fine white sand beaches, vibrant coral reefs, and turquoise waters ideal for swimming, diving and enjoying a space separate from the world. Was once a symbol of wealth thanks to phosphate, a unique resource formed from bird droppings that had accumulated over millennia on the island's coral reefs. These sediments, rich in nutrients, turned Nauru into one of the world's richest countries by GDP per capita between 1970 and 1990. At its peak, phosphate exports brought in huge revenues, helping Nauruans enjoy a luxurious life with modern houses, imported cars, and no need to pay taxes. This small island of just 21 square kilometers became the center of global attention, with a standard of living on par with developed countries, a rare feat. But the glory did not last forever. Phosphate reserves depleted in the late 20th century, plunging Nauru into a severe economic recession. Once a wealthy nation, Nauru fell from being one of the poorest in the world. With a GDP of only about $1 million in 2024, dependent on aid from Australia and revenue from its refugee detention center. Overmining of phosphate not only depleted its resources, but also devastated the landscape, turning 80% of the island into barren land, filled with deep holes and sharp limestone, unsuitable for farming. As a result, environmental degradation and soil erosion have caused people to face the challenge of survival in their own homeland. Can a small country like Nauru bounce back from economic collapse? Leave a 1 in the comments and let us know. And now let's continue the story of Nauru. Nauru is a classic example of unsustainable resource use, offering a valuable lesson in economic management. In the 1970s and 1980s, Nauru became rich from the exploitation of phosphate, a resource from bird droppings that had accumulated over millennia. With a GDP per capita exceeding many developed countries, Nauru seemed invincible. But blind dependence on phosphate and a lack of long-term planning brought the island nation to the brink of collapse when its resources ran out in the early 21st century, leading to economic and environmental collapse. Investment mistakes compounded the disaster. Instead of diversifying its economy, Nauru spent lavishly on ineffective projects, such as funding an opera house in Australia and building hotels and resorts overseas that never operated. Real estate ventures in Melbourne and Hawaii failed miserably, draining the budget. As a result, Nauru went bankrupt, with debts many times its current GDP of about $150 million. From being a wealthy country, Nauru fell into dependence on foreign aid, mainly from Australia, and revenue from refugee detention centers, which was not sustainable. The lessons from Nauru are a stark warning. Overexploitation of resources without reinvestment in education, health care, and diverse industries has devastated 80% of the island's land, leaving it barren and uncultivable. Climate change and soil erosion have worsened the situation. Today, Nauru is seeking to revive itself through tourism and green energy. But the consequences of management mistakes still remind the world: limited resources require a sustainable vision, otherwise prosperity will be as fleeting as the waves of the Pacific Ocean. What is special about Nauru is that although it is not famous for its large and majestic waterfalls like other lands, it has some small and beautiful waterfalls hidden in the primeval forests, where the clear water flows from above down the cliffs, creating white foam, sparkling in the sunlight. One of the most prominent waterfalls is Annabare Bay Waterfall, where the water gently flows down the cliff before blending into the blue sea. This is an ideal destination for those who want to get away from the noise of popular tourist areas and seek a peaceful, quiet space in the middle of wild nature. The waterfalls in Nauru not only attract tourists by their poetic beauty, but are also an ideal place to explore the vitality of nature. The cool water flows from the streams on the island, soaks into the ground and forms clear lakes. In addition, the combination of moss-covered cliffs and ancient trees creates a mysterious space close to nature. If you are an adventure lover, exploring these waterfalls on trekking trips will definitely bring you unforgettable experiences. Waterfalls in Nauru are not only attractive tourist destinations, but also play an important role in the lives of local people. The water source from these waterfalls not only provides water for daily life, but also symbolizes the power and freshness of nature. Small waterfalls on the island contribute to maintaining the richness of flora and fauna, and are a source of motivation for Nauruans in their work and daily life. In addition, the beauty of these waterfalls also helps Nauru affirm its potential attraction to tourists. Although there are no majestic waterfalls like in other countries, the wild, quiet and peaceful beauty of waterfalls in Nauru brings a unique attraction. It is an indispensable part of the unique natural picture of this island nation, creating unforgettable experiences for those who have ever set foot here. With its enchanting and magical waterfalls, Nauru is an ideal destination for those seeking peace, harmony with nature, and a space to relax and recharge. If you are looking for a holiday filled with exciting and wonderful experiences in the wild, then Nauru with these beautiful waterfalls will definitely be the ideal choice. When you step deep into the tropical forests, you will feel the mystery and wildness of nature here. The dense forests with towering ancient trees, rough roots stretching into the ground, create a space that is both dark and mysterious. The small, clear streams, winding between the treetops, occasionally hidden by small waterfalls, create a murmuring sound, rhythmic like a natural song. The fresh, cool air and the vitality of the flora and fauna here make every step an indispensable journey of discovery. In addition, Nauru also has the characteristics of a special rocky landscape, where the vertical cliffs rise up to the sky, creating spectacular views. The Rocky Mountains around the island, although not too high, are an ideal place for you to admire the whole view of this small country. From these high points, you will have the opportunity to admire the beauty of the blue sea surrounding the island, along with the white sand beaches stretching far and wide, like a soft silk strip embracing the sky and earth. The Sea of Nauru is not only beautiful but also contains a rich marine ecosystem. With clear water, it is home to many diverse and rich marine species. Colorful coral reefs, tropical fish swimming, or schools of sea turtles gliding across the water create a vivid and magical scene. The mountain, sea and sky landscape in Nauru is not only beautiful but also strangely attractive, captivating people. With a harmonious combination of pristine natural beauty and tranquility, this is definitely an ideal place for those who seek relaxation, immerse themselves in nature and experience the wild beauty of the natural world. Those who come to Nauru will feel the peaceful space, different from the hustle and bustle of life out there, and can find serenity and peace that cannot be found anywhere else. The natural landscape of Nauru, a small island nation in the heart of the Pacific Ocean, is a harmonious combination of mountains, forests, seas, and vast skies, creating a beautiful, strange, and attractive space. Although not as prominent as famous tourist destinations, Nauru possesses a unique, pristine beauty that makes anyone who sets foot here amazed. Especially if you love peace, quiet, and closeness to nature, this place will bring you unforgettable experiences. With a small area of only about 21 square kilometers, Nauru is like a precious gem bestowed by nature on the Pacific Ocean. From towering Rocky Mountains to long stretches of smooth white sand, there is no shortage of beautiful scenery here. Nauru's coastal areas are a beautiful picture with clear water and golden sand sparkling under the sunlight. The waves gently lapping against the shore, creating a melodious sound, blending with the whistling wind from the ocean, making visitors feel like they are entering a magical space, separate from the noisy world out there. The island nation of Nauru's extreme obesity rate is more than a cold number, it's a snapshot of the dramatic transformation of a society once well-fed by natural resources, but now facing serious health consequences from that wealth. Here, more than 90% of the adult population is overweight or obese, making Nauru the country with the highest obesity rate on the planet, a record no one wants. The story begins in the 20th century, when Nauru discovered huge phosphate reserves on its tiny island. In a short time, the country became incredibly wealthy, with people living comfortably without having to do much manual labor. The financial prosperity came with a lifestyle that modernized too quickly, while public health knowledge had not developed in time to match. A sedentary lifestyle, combined with imported foods such as canned food, fast food, carbonated soft drinks, etc., has replaced the traditional diet that relied on ocean fish, vegetables, and tropical fruits. Gradually, this consumption habit has become the norm in daily life. Unlike many Western cultures, where being slim is often prized, in Nauru, obesity has long been seen as a symbol of wealth and success. This tradition makes it difficult to change public thinking. In a society where fat is beautiful and healthy, health warnings are often ignored. What are the consequences? Rates of chronic diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, and even kidney failure are skyrocketing. In particular, nearly 40% of the population has type 2 diabetes, a staggering figure for a country with an area of less than 21 square kilometers. The health system, already limited in resources and facilities, is struggling to cope. In this context, efforts to improve are starting to appear. International organizations and the Norwegian government are working together to educate the community about nutrition and health. Programs to encourage people to return to natural diets, increase physical activity, and reconnect with their ancestors' healthy lifestyles are being implemented step by step. Schools are adding sports to the curriculum, and people are encouraged to grow their own vegetables and fish as they once did. Although the road to recovery is long and challenging, Nauru's story is a sobering example. Uncontrolled development, dependence on modern conveniences, and industrial food can have profound consequences for public health. And above all, health not wealth is the true measure of a nation's sustainable development. Nauru is a clear example of the consequences of unsustainable development. The environmental devastation from phosphate mining has left an indelible mark. During the 20th century, excessive phosphate mining for export turned about 80% of Nauru into a dead zone. Phosphate mines, formed from bird droppings over millennia, are continuously excavated, leaving the island's surface full of deep holes, sharp limestone, and barren land, unable to cultivate or restore the natural ecosystem. The once lush landscape is now barren, with limestone pillars standing tall like relics of a golden age. Today, Nauru is trying to restore its environment, but the journey is difficult. Tree planting and land reclamation projects are hampered by a lack of fertile soil, harsh climate, and limited water resources. Some programs, such as reforesting old mines with native plants or importing soil from overseas, have been tried, but high costs and low returns mean progress is slow. Climate change is making matters worse, with rising sea levels threatening to erode the coastline where Nauru's population and infrastructure are concentrated. The 2024 report found that the island nation is at risk of losing more land to erosion and flooding, leaving its people without enough space to live. The environmental consequences of Nauru are an expensive lesson for the world. The short-lived prosperity from phosphate has come at the cost of a devastated landscape and an uncertain future. Although regeneration efforts with ecotourism and renewable energy are gaining momentum, Nauru still faces a major challenge in healing its environmental wounds. The story of Nauru reminds us that unsustainable development can turn a paradise into a silent land, right in the heart of the deep blue ocean. Despite being one of the smallest island nations in the world, Nauru has a unique tourism potential that few people know about. Its pristine beaches and pristine coral reefs have not been exploited much by mass tourism. Nauru offers a feeling of being separated from the world, where you can relax in the vast ocean, listen to the waves, and forget the hustle and bustle of life. This gives Nauru a rare advantage: quiet, pure, and authentic, something many modern travelers are looking for in an increasingly crowded and commercialized world. However, infrastructure constraints have kept tourism on Nauru largely underdeveloped. With only a few small ghost houses in Yaren and basic services, Nauru lacks hotels, restaurants, or modern transportation to accommodate tourists. The only international airport only accepts limited flights from Australia or Fiji, making access to the island expensive and difficult. Without major tour operators or formal tourism promotion, Nauru remains a hidden destination, attracting only true explorers who want to discover an original Oceania. What makes Nauru special is its friendly people, who welcome strangers with warm smiles and stories of the sea. but most of them depend on subsidies from Australia and import food and goods because the land is barren and uncultivable. This hospitality combined with spectacular seascapes has great potential if tourism is invested in. Nauru could become an ecotourism gem, but it needs to overcome infrastructure barriers to shine, offering a unique experience in the heart of the Pacific. Nauru, a small country but full of stories worth pondering, is a living testament to the ups and downs of humanity. From the height of its wealth thanks to phosphate mining, Nauru once shone like a pearl of the Pacific. But the lesson of collapse due to overexploitation turned the island into a barren land, reminding us of the value of sustainability. Still, with its turquoise seas, vibrant coral reefs, and hospitable people, Nauru still invites exploration. The journey here is not just about tourism, it is an opportunity to reflect on resources, the environment, and the future. Albania's traditional culture is clearly expressed through folk music, especially the vaje dance, full of vitality and community spirit. Embroidery, colorful traditional costumes, along with close family, community relationships are indispensable elements in Albanian life. In addition, canon, a traditional code of honor, is still influential in some communities, reflecting long-standing ethics and behaviors. In particular, the role and status of women in Albanian society also has its own nuances, both influenced by tradition and changing with the pace of modern life. Let's explore further in the next section. Albanian women have long played an indispensable role in social and cultural life, especially in rural areas, where they are considered the soul of the family and the custodians of traditional values through the generations. However, with the development of modern society, the role of women is increasingly expanded and recognized. They are not only actively participating in the fields of education, health, politics, and economics, but also rising to hold many important leadership positions in the state apparatus and businesses. One of the typical models of such progress is Anela Dinaj, former Minister of Finance, a woman who has contributed to changing social perceptions of women's capacity and role. However, challenges to gender equality still exist in some areas, especially in accessing career opportunities and breaking down traditional stereotypes. Women's organizations and movements are working every day to improve this. If you find Albania as interesting as we do, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and hit subscribe. There are many more surprising destinations waiting for you. After learning about the important role of women, let's explore an equally fascinating aspect of Albanian life, its unique and charming cuisine. Albanian cuisine is a wonderful blend of the quintessence of the Mediterranean and the rustic features of Balkan culinary culture. From fresh ingredients to traditional cooking methods, each dish reflects the simple and close-to-nature lifestyle of the people here. One of the most typical and popular dishes is börek, a crispy pastry with a variety of fillings such as cheese, meat or vegetables, appearing in almost every daily meal. In addition, forgjis, a fragrant and fatty cheese stew, or tave kosi, grilled lamb combined with slightly sour yogurt, are all traditional dishes passed down from generation to generation. Along with meals, Albanians often enjoy a glass of raki, a strong local liquor, or sip strong Turkish coffee while chatting intimately. After experiencing regional cuisine, let's continue our journey to discover the wild and majestic landscapes that make Albania a hidden gem of Europe. Albania is one of the most attractive destinations in Europe for those who are passionate about wild nature, unique culture, and rich history. Located in the southwest of the Balkan Peninsula, this small country possesses spectacular landscapes stretching from mountains to the sea. The Albanian Alps, also known as the Balkan Alps, with its rolling peaks and green valleys, are an ideal destination for those who love trekking, adventure, and exploration. Meanwhile, the Albanian Riviera coast captivates visitors with its crystal-clear blue water, smooth sand, and peaceful atmosphere, all still pristine, uncommercialized. Not to be missed are the two famous lakes Ohrid and Skatter, both of which are recognized by UNESCO as World Heritage Sites for their natural beauty and valuable ecological and cultural values. Historically, Albania boasts ancient cities such as Berat and Gjirokastër, which still preserve ancient stone houses and unique traditional architecture. Roman and Ottoman fortresses, as well as ancient ruins in Apollonia and Butrint, are living traces of the country's thousands of years of history. After soaking in the majestic beauty and ancient historical landmarks, you may be even more surprised to discover interesting and unique things that only Albania has to offer, seemingly absurd facts that are an indispensable part of the country's colorful identity. Albania is a country that not only captivates visitors with its breathtaking nature and long-standing cultural heritage, but also fascinates visitors with its unique features rarely seen in the world. One of the most surprising things is the Albanian people's special way of nonverbal communication. They nod their heads to say no and shake their heads to say yes. This can be confusing at first, but becomes an interesting and unique experience. Under leader Enver Hoxha, Albania built about 173,000 bunkers, a record number, making this country the country with the highest density of bunkers in the world, reflecting a dramatic period of history. In addition, Albania is one of the few European countries without a McDonald's, a testament to its different lifestyle and self-reliance. The local name, Shqipëria, meaning land of the eagles, is not only a title but also a sacred symbol in the hearts of the people here. With all that, Albania deserves to be a destination that is both strange and familiar, and will definitely make you remember it forever. Albania is a special country where a long history, unique cultural identity, and pristine nature blend together to create a fascinating picture. From the majestic mountains, ancient relics, to the crystal-clear Mediterranean beaches, every element contributes to the unique appeal of this small country. Despite facing many challenges in the development process, Albania is gradually rising, affirming its position on the European tourism and economic map. Perhaps it is the rustic, genuine, and not yet commercialized nature that makes this place a destination worth exploring before it becomes too famous. If you are interested in the journey to explore Albania, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to watch more interesting videos, and leave a comment below to share your thoughts about this interesting country. In addition, Albania also has a long coastline bordering the Adriatic and Ionian Seas, creating a wild, poetic coastal strip known as the undiscovered Riviera of Europe. With a population of nearly 3 million people, estimated by 2025, Albania is a country small enough for tourists to fully explore, but diverse enough to make every journey surprising and memorable. The capital city of Tirana is the country's vibrant political, economic, and cultural center, featuring colorful architecture and a modern lifestyle. In addition, cities such as Durrës, a bustling seaport, Shkodër, a place with many historical landmarks, Vlora, the intersection of two great seas, and Berat, a UNESCO-recognized white stone city, also contribute to the cultural and tourist identity of Albania. So what are the milestones that have shaped Albania as it is today? Let's embark on a journey to learn about the history and political system of this mysterious country. The history of Albania is a long and tumultuous journey, reflecting the resilience and indomitability of a small but unyielding people. Since the ancient Illyrian period, this land has been inhabited by indigenous tribes, before falling into the hands of major empires in history. The Roman Empire and then the Ottoman Empire left deep marks on the culture, religion, and architecture of Albania. However, the desire for independence has never faded in the hearts of the people here. In 1912, Albania officially declared independence, marking an important historical turning point. In the 20th century, Albania experienced a closed and challenging period under the leadership of Enver Hoxha, who established a communist regime that lasted from 1944 to 1992. Under Hoxha, the country was completely isolated from the outside world, leaving behind many strange legacies such as hundreds of thousands of bunkers scattered across the territory. After the fall of the regime in the early 1990s, Albania entered a period of transition to democracy, opening up to the international community and gradually integrating into Europe. Today, Albania is a parliamentary republic, with the president as head of state and the prime minister as head of government. The country is striving to become a full member of the European Union, a sign of its desire for progress and constant innovation. After the ups and downs of history, culture and religion in Albania have developed in a very unique way. Let's explore the unique cultural identity and religious diversity that have shaped the spiritual life of Albanians for centuries. Albania's cultural identity is a blend of long-standing traditional values and influences from various civilizations throughout history. Albanian, Shqip, is the official language and the pride of the people here, with two main dialects, Geg in the north and Tosk in the south. In terms of religion, Albania is one of the countries with remarkable religious diversity. The majority of the population is Muslim, followed by Christians with both Catholicism and Orthodoxy, besides a part of the population that is not religious, showing the spirit of tolerance and freedom of belief. Although Madagascar is famous for its unique natural beauty and rich ecosystems, the island's tourism industry still faces many major challenges. One of the serious problems is limited infrastructure. Madagascar is a large island nation, but many areas are not well connected to major cities, making travel difficult and time-consuming for tourists. Roads are poorly maintained, and public transportation is underdeveloped, which increases travel costs and limits access for international visitors. Therefore, although the island has great tourism potential, tourists still have difficulty exploring remote and untouched lands. Furthermore, the impact of unsustainable tourism is becoming a serious problem. With the increasing number of tourists, many nature reserves and wildlife habitats are being encroached upon. Actions such as cutting down forests to build resorts, encroachment into protected areas, and pollution due to increased waste are threatening the survival of rare species, such as lemurs and giant tortoises. To address these challenges, Madagascar is working to develop sustainable tourism. The government and conservation organizations are promoting ecotourism, where visitors can enjoy nature without harming the environment. Initiatives to protect protected areas, improve infrastructure, and engage visitors in nature conservation activities are important measures to ensure that tourism develops without harming nature and local communities. The people of St. Helena, affectionately known as Saints, are the soul of this isolated island. They are kind, hospitable, and have a deep pride in their homeland. On an island of just a few thousand people, everyone knows each other, greets each other when passing by, and is willing to stop for a few minutes just to ask a few questions. Life here is not rushed, there are no car horns, no traffic jams, because there are no traffic lights on the island. Crime is almost zero. A small world where you feel safe, welcome, and can easily breathe a deep, deep sigh of relief. The people live simply but not monotonously. Some go to the beach, some grow vegetables, some make handmade cakes, some weave, some tell stories to children every late afternoon. The women of St. Helena are the soft but powerful heart of this community. They take care of their families while preserving the unique culture from traditional cuisine to patient and loving parenting. The women here do not need noise to shine, they shine with warmth, gentleness, and the ability to unite a community. St. Helena is not just a place, it is a feeling. And it is these people who make the magic happen. So we have explored Madagascar together, a wonderful island with a rich ecosystem, unique culture and warm, friendly people. Rare animals, magical baobab trees, primeval forests, and rich culture have made Madagascar an unmissable destination for those who love to explore nature and culture. And if you have the opportunity to visit this island, remember that Madagascar is not only a tourist destination but also an important part of the world heritage, a place that deserves to be protected and loved. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next journeys. Goodbye and see you again.